welcome to our stream today. Thanks for coming in and tuning in and spending a little bit of time with us today. I am Rolando, and over here on this side of the screen is Dave.
Hey,
Dave,
everybody.
what's up?
How are you, Rolando? Happy Friday.
I am ready, fired up. It is Friday, one of my favorite days of the week. You know,
It's gotta be.
I love it because essentially the weekend starts tomorrow. But if you're at home, maybe it starts a few hours earlier, right? Than on Saturday.
Right. Yeah, 501.
Hopefully after they watch the stream. And today we've got a good lineup for you. We're going to be really nerding out today, okay? So if you like to know some of the nitty gritty behind why there are some issues when you're using your Windows PC with your USB headset, stay tuned. We're going to actually hit the nerd out section really at the beginning part of our stream, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about products as we roll through the stream and point out which products are going to help you avoid some of these issues that you may be encountering. But Dave, before we get to all the nerding out and all the nice products that we're going to talk about today, why don't we go to the trivia question, right?
All right, let's go to that trivia
Ori,
question.
go ahead. Let's see. So you want to go ahead? You do the honors today.
All right. So I thought this was a very interesting question. I'm curious to know if anybody has the answer. Listen, I just opened up the text. So if anybody wants to shoot us any chat messages, please do. Guess 100 times, that's fine. But so the question is, according to a Stanford study, what percentage of the U.S. labor force is working from home? And this was a study that was conducted near the beginning of this summer in June of 2020. So throw us your answers. I'm real curious to see what some of the folks out there think about this. So more to come on that. We'll find out later.
Absolutely. And you know what? We want to welcome in our audience from YouTube, Facebook, and wherever else you're watching us today. And if you are tuning in, like Dave said, and you're watching the live stream today on Friday, you have the opportunity not only to watch us and interact with us live, but you have the opportunity to also, if you're on Amazon, on the Amazon platform, to buy the products that we're going to be talking about in a little bit. And they're usually right below me. And you can go ahead and check those out. We have those all available as of this at the moment we started streaming. And if you're watching us during the playback, sit back, relax, enjoy. You'll get to watch the whole thing at your leisure. All right. So Dave, one of the things that just keeps coming up, I know that over the years since it was released, tend to be issues around using Windows 10 with USB headsets, or even other headsets for that matter. And after diving into some of our archive and our questions that have come through, it really came down to two big issues. One, there's an update that Microsoft did on Windows 10 that it started creating a situation where people that were using their headsets just fine with no issues all of a sudden overnight had issues, whether the Windows 10 was going from headset mode to headphones mode, as well as giving them an error when you're trying to use Bluetooth. So we're going to first start with the Bluetooth error. And Ori, you could probably throw up that troubleshooting error, and we'll talk through it. So one of the things that comes up when this error code 52, which is really a generic code that is mainly related to Bluetooth, and a lot of times tends to be related when you have a Bluetooth device connected, or in this case, it may be a USB device, but it's related to this issue that is the particular headset you're using may not have a digital signature associated with that driver. And if you don't have a headset that has been certified for Microsoft usage, and we're going to touch on that as we roll through the products on why that's important. If you don't have a headset that is certified, and there's also a website, you can Google it, and you'll find that right now there's just a handful of manufacturers that are actually certified for the Microsoft platform. Now, because you're not certified, or your headset or headphones is not certified, it doesn't mean you can't use it. It just means it hasn't gone through the process, so to speak. Right, Dave? Microsoft has this process for certification, and it can mean a lot to being able to use your headsets or headphones plug and play, right?
That's right.
And so as it relates to this error, so getting back to our error 52. So you see this error, it may, in this case, this is on the Apple mobile device connected to it. What you need to do, there's a couple of steps. So let's walk through the easiest thing you could do. If you've got this error right now, whether you're watching us live or you're actually watching us during the playback, the first thing that I would recommend to do is to go ahead and I've got my things out of order here, so just give me a second. You want to check what version of that update do you have from Windows 10. So in Windows 10, there was an update that was released September 10th of 2019. And there we go. Thank you, Ori. That's exactly what I needed. This update will resolve that problem in most cases. And the driver issue should go away, because what happened was now this is just my opinion now that what I'm going to tell you instead of fact. I believe there's a lot of people based on all of the different comments that we've seen over the last year or so, year plus. A lot of other customers were running into this issue, and Microsoft heard that loud and clear, and they went and released an issue to fix that bug. So whether you had a digital driver or not, you could connect without this issue where your headset or headphones, or it was toggling back and forth, or if you were on the Bluetooth link, it was disconnecting you, or you were just not being able to connect. This should have fixed that. So make sure you, as anybody would recommend, that you back up your drivers, your system before you do this. And then Microsoft has on this page, and we'll have a link to it on our website, as well as on the on YouTube and Facebook, so that you can get this. But essentially, this is the particular firmware release that fixed that problem. Now, you do that, you go through those steps, you realize, oh my God, this is not working, right? Because Dave, how frustrating is it when you go to a blog or you go to somebody's comments and they're like, this worked for me, and then you try it yourself and you're like, what the Teck? What the Teck just happened? Right.
So, and and it's hard. Sometimes the information isn't right there, and it does take someone to do a little bit of digging to find out what kind of, what's different on my system, what's different from my headset, exactly what needs to be done. People can get frustrated with technology. That's why we're here. We're here to help.
Right. And so if you say, what the Teck, and it doesn't fix it, well, there's another step. Okay, this is just kind of the first line of defense. Check your firmware version, what version you're running, and was it prior to this release? And if it was, this should take care of it. Now you go to the next step and you say, hey, wait a minute. This made it worse. Because sometimes that happens, right? You're even more frustrated because it made another problem. So one of the things that Microsoft has is a system file checker tool. So this checker tool, or system file checker tool, will allow you to go back and bring your system back to where it was. So it's going to check the drivers, and it's going to see which one it needs to fix. And you can go back in and repair those corrupted files, is what's the title here. But you can also go back and restore that driver back to where it was prior to the update. So be aware that this is another thing that you'll want to back up your system before you make those changes. Okay. Then if that doesn't work, and before we get to the next step, because that we're going to throw it to the products in a little bit, take your time, slow down, grab your favorite beverage. In this case, it's just water, a little warm water with honey for me. Take a deep breath. Slow down. Slow it down. In one of my previous segments, somebody had told me, or you had mentioned to me, Bob Ross. Channel your inner Bob Ross, rest in peace. The draw here, a tree, and a bird, and da. Channel him, because IT issues, whether you're a seasoned pro like Dave, who is really good at the IT stuff, or nerding out like myself, I get super frustrated with IT issues because it should just work. And that's just not the way it goes a lot of times. So slow down, grab your favorite beverage, you'll be just fine. So again, let me review those steps again. So the first thing you want to do, check the release that you have. Do you have it prior to September 2019? If you have, more than likely you're going to want to do the firmware upgrade that allows that fix to take place. If you, on the other hand, you find that makes things worse, the other tool is the system, the checker tool. I'll call it the checker tool, and that will help you fix corrupted drivers. And Microsoft has specific instructions on steps on how to do that, and so that would be my next line. Now, before we go to the next thing and jump into products, a lot of folks always ask, so what if I get this expensive, or usually they're a little bit more if you're going through the certification process, why can't I just use the headset, Dave? I bought a Bose headset or even a Jabra headset, and the Elite series. It's supposed to be the best, right? I could just use it, connecting it directly via Bluetooth, no?
Not always. A lot of those products are more consumer-driven products geared to folks that just want to listen to great audio. And both of those brands that you mentioned, Jabra has some products that are for consumers, as does Bose. Both are very high end, but it doesn't mean that they're Microsoft certified. It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be the right solution. So that's why it's important to find companies like Jabra that have partnered up with organizations like Microsoft so that you can get that full functionality and that true user experience that you're looking for.
Right, and that's the other thing when you're, especially on the Bluetooth side, it's a more noticeable, because what happens is, and we've covered this in previous streams, but for those that didn't happen to tune in, I'll give you the 30-second version of why on the Bluetooth is especially important to have Microsoft certified. In this case, you're going to have a dongle, and I'm just going to reach over here to my right. You'll have a dongle with a lot of the UC, what's called UC, Unified Communications version. So whether you are buying a Plantronics, a Poly, a Sennheiser, a Jabra, all of these brands tend to have a UC. And what two things that distinguish it is, one, it'll come with a dongle just for what you need to take care of those Bluetooth issues. And the drivers are digitally signed, so you don't have to do any uploading, you don't have to do any downloading. And they do have free software to upgrade their headsets, and we'll touch on that in a little bit, but it'll come with a dongle, help avoid that problem. And number two, a lot of these lines, like David said, when it comes to their consumer lines, they have consumer products that look identical. You'd look at the pictures, the description's nearly identical, but the distinction is when you see something that comes with USB, what happens is the manufacturers optimize the firmware inside of those headsets so that they're going to work on that Bluetooth connection with all of your business applications. So if you're using Teams, you're using Skype, you're using other things that connect to your through Windows, and you want to use that Bluetooth link to either talk or listen to audio, you want to get that UC version of that product, or the Unified Communications version. It's going to cost a little bit more, but you won't have the headaches. And Ori, once you throw it to that page, we had on here that Microsoft page, just to highlight that. This is a very typical kind of comment that comes through the support line for us, as well as a lot of the chats, that one, that comes up over and over again, because folks just don't know, right, Dave? They don't know that the UC version, because you're paying more, you're getting all the optimization built in so that you can use it plug and play. Whereas the consumer version, you're not. And so what I'm pulling here is just an example of something very typical from this particular customer that was on the Microsoft board, saying, hey, I got the Jabra Elite 65. Should work, no? And actually the response was no. Then this is on the Microsoft page, actually. No, that's not correct, in that that particular model is not the ones that are optimized for usage on a PC. Right. And that's the important thing, optimization, because the manufacturers want to make sure that when you use a PC with it, you get either the digitally signed drivers on the USB dongle or the headset itself. So I just want to drive that point home. So always check if your intention is to use a headset or headphones. with your Bluetooth connection so that you're wireless and untethered. Check that it is optimized for usage on a PC. Otherwise, you're going to run into issues like a lot of these folks are.
Absolutely. And one note that I'd like to add, Rolando, with the dongles, what they've done is they've provided it an auto detect feature so that when you connect that into your PC or laptop and then you turn on your headset, you don't necessarily have to search to pair it up. They automatically do pair together because they're already talking the same language. So while we are trying to troubleshoot some known issues, they have done a pretty good job in just trying to remove some of those headaches. Auto detect is always a nice feature to have. Plug it in, turn your headset on, and you should hear that you're paired.
Absolutely.
Rolando, I think we're having an issue with your audio. You sound like you're muted. All right, well, I guess we'll put this on to me. I wish I had some of the product here. So as we were talking about, so the dongles do allow for just automatically pairing. You plug it in, it's paired, and you're ready to go. Sometimes before I make any test calls, I'll just make sure that the audio is there. So I'll throw on YouTube, I'll stream some audio, whatever it might be. Give me the confidence that that is coming through, and then I'll do some test calls just to see where the audio is back. Rolando, are you back now? No, unfortunately not. I don't know if you perhaps kicked a cable. Not hearing you at all. And this is just a demonstration on, some of the issues that can happen. I don't necessarily say that that's a headset issue. So we do have a lot of different equipment that we're using here. What we're in the process of doing is taking some of our headsets that we demo here, at least here in my location, getting an external microphone, maybe a higher end camera to kind of change the experience. But you know what, as we play around with different technologies, sometimes we have some of these little hurdles that we need to get over. Unfortunately, we're still not getting Rolando. I think we do get some of the music that's playing, so that's new for us, as you can tell. Just trying to change the vibe up. Every week when we're doing this, we're trying to bring kind of a different experience, trying to step it up a little bit with the production value. So hopefully we can get Rolando back here in a moment or two. In the meantime, so we want to highlight some of these products below. The Jabra Evolve2 Series has been, just a really big seller. It seems like Houston, we have a signal again.
Yes,
we have you back.
Okay,
good. We got you back.
All
nice
right,
to have
awesome.
you.
I don't know what happened here. It seems like one of the softwares that's running on my laptop here, connected to this mic, crashed. So I got it back.
All right.
So the show must go on, Dave. I think I could hear you, but I couldn't. I guess you couldn't hear me. I was hearing myself just fine in my head. I'm like, what are you talking about? My audio is just fine. But it's live TV or stream, so things happen. So, Dave, so we were just getting ready to talk about Bluetooth, right? And the first solution, check the firmware. Second step, run the checker. And the third is get a product that actually will use the Microsoft Windows platform plug and play, and that will avoid all issues. Let me rewind, because it's hard to make an absolute statement like that. It's going to be able to resolve and probably be frustration free most of the time, because there are situations where maybe something comes out and a bug comes out. But one of the beauties of using some of the headsets that we're going to get it ready to highlight by Jabra and some of the others is that they release free updates to you so that it would resolve a lot of these issues. Yeah. And all you need is the app. All of them have apps on app stores and on the iOS, and all of them also have PC. If you're intending on using this with the PC, you will find that the free updates can also be put in through the PC as well, and I would recommend that. We're going to show that here in a second. So getting a headset that's Microsoft certified allows you to avoid these issues. If you're using Teams, especially if you're using Teams, it's gonna send out all of the settings through all the different apps that you have on the PC, so that you don't have to do anything. Right. And before you were going to say something, Dave?
No, I'm just agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. It sounded like you were going to say something. So what I'd like to do is we could jump in, Ori, into the Loom video for the Bluetooth demo. So we're going to show you what happens when you actually plug this in. So in this case, we're showing you a video of the Jabra software that's available. Go ahead and roll it, Ori. The Jabra software that's available with the Bluetooth. You put this on your PC. It allows you to search for the device. And stop it there for a moment, Ori. So what this software will allow you to do is when you use your Bluetooth dongle, right? This Bluetooth dongle will allow you to find the headset that you have it connected. In this case, it's the Jabra 2. So like I was saying before, what you want to avoid is connecting directly into the PC without this dongle. And so that's what we're showing you there and what you can do with it. So go ahead, roll it through. So it finds it, it pairs with it. As long as your headset's in pairing mode, the first time you pair it, boom, you don't have to do this again. And with this, you get to see now, yeah, go ahead. And the Evolve65, which we're going to show here in a moment, and what it says, it finds Microsoft Teams, but you're not connected or not ready at this point. And you can also customize some of the music features, like you can have an equalizer to adjust the audio that you're listening to. So if you really want to customize the experience, you have the ability to do that. In this case, what it's saying here, not ready, that the Teams software is not running in the background at the moment, but it auto-recognized Teams as being one of those softwares. You have the ability to customize the headset, and you have a number of features here that will allow you to mute when the boom arm goes down, announcements being played, different levels of protection depending on what country, so that the audio doesn't go above a certain decibel level. You can auto reject calls. You can auto sleep the headset. So if you're trying to conserve energy, battery power, you've got a number of things. You can turn on the busy light. You can change the name of the headset. You can set a reminder for when you mute yourself, which is kind of handy. But if you find that that's bothersome, you can change that and turn that off. You can also create side tone. You can also resume audio when you move the headset. So it has like a sensor that senses when it's being picked up or put down. So it knows when that, so it's intelligent in that way. You can also adjust the side tone. How much of the voice that you hear of yourself plays back into the headset. You can adjust that, as well as changing how you perceive the audio, whether a normal level with a little more bass. You can also lock in the firmware. So this is the nerd feature, I'll call it that. If you like the software, that version you're on right now for that headset, you lock into it, it won't change it. If you don't, and you just want it to roll through with the updates as they come out, you go ahead and you enable that, and it allows it to prompt you that you have an update, and you will be able to update that firmware. Now, Dave, one of the things that I noticed with Jabra, I know the other manufacturers have as well, and you can also prioritize audio, is that what we're showing you is just for a single user, but they also have a Jabra Express. So if you've got many users, or even 5, 10, 30, 40 users, or hundreds of users, they have a software that allows you to push out updates. And also, in this case, you're seeing an update being applied, and you'll see that it only takes a few seconds. It allows you to essentially work with all the headsets in your organization so that you can manage your headsets seamlessly from one point of software and push that out to everybody, so that everybody's on the same page, right?
Yeah, I'll tell you what, and this is very important, for the technology leaders that we work with. They want to take some level of control. Sometimes they'll leave it to the user to customize and manage themselves, and that's fine. But at the end of the day, a lot of the folks that we're working with, the technology leaders, they like to they want to take this off of their users' hands. They support their laptops, they support all their other endpoints, and they're a resource for their organization when there's issues. They go to the IT, they open up a ticket, whatever it might be. So headsets should be no different. And what Jabra's done here is that they've given them that control software and have the ability for those individuals to manage all the endpoints regardless of where they are. Everyone's working at home, they can do it remotely. If they're all in the same office, they don't have to leave their own office to go to a cubicle or someone's office to do that. So they can individually see these endpoints, and then
and they don't have to go out to anybody's houses
accordingly.
as well, right? Especially since a
Absolutely.
lot more folks are working from home. You don't have to send an IT person to troubleshoot a headset. Now, let's also point out that some of these features that we're talking about on the enterprise side, let's call it the enterprise side, where you're
Yep.
managing multiple headsets, some of those may require specific types of headsets in order to manage that. Did I understand that correct as well, Dave? You can't
Yep.
really, yeah. So if you have really old headsets that don't have the compatibility with the software for the PC, and this is essentially mainly directed at folks that are using their headsets for PC. If you don't have one of those compatible headsets, you won't be able to take advantage of that feature. So the headsets that we're going to feature here in just a little bit all are already built with all of these features that allow you to push out updates, allow you to manage them from an enterprise perspective, where you have remote employees everywhere. It allows you to manage them so that you can create a frustration-free zone with your coworkers or colleagues that are using headsets.
Absolutely. And yeah, you know what, Rolando? I think it's important also. Now is a smart time to upgrade with technology when it comes to these audio and video endpoints for UC applications. Letting your users just go on anywhere.com and finding any solution out there. I mean, that may have worked 5 or 10 years ago, but with all of the power that you're now given to control these endpoints and manage them, it's smart to look at standards for your organization. Standardize on a brand, standardize on a few different SKUs. You can still give your users some sort of a selection to a single ear, a double ear, large, small, earbuds, whatever it might be, but make it one brand, make them UC or Microsoft compatible, and you'll give your users a great experience. And also the technology leaders, they won't have to spend a lot of their time fixing issues with those users because they'll all have the correct solution. So standardization is something that you certainly want to consider.
Absolutely. And like you said, this is the time to do it. People are at home, or a lot of people are at home, and having the ability to, if you're an IT person or any just maybe you're not being IT, but you may have a small organization, and that organization consists of several people that actually, or maybe one person that's in charge of all of this. It makes it so much easier if there is an issue, you know about it, and you have something you can do instead of, over the phone and being frustrated on if this works or if it doesn't work, or it's very easy to manage when you're watching when you're watching us. This is a lot easier, right? Right. So
That's right.
I just want to before we move on, I just want to point out here, if you have any questions, go ahead and hit us up on chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from, what city, state you're watching us, and we'll give you a shout out, and we'll thank you for watching us. All right, Dave. So the Bluetooth. Now, what I'd like to do is jump into the Engage. So one of these headsets, what do they look like? What do they do? One of the headsets that we want to highlight today, and it's also in our carousel, are several of the Engage series headsets. These headsets are both the Engage 50 specifically, and I think we should have that on our carousel. Well, we've got the Elite. No, there we go.
Yep.
There we go.
I have it highlighted down below.
Okay, so we've got them highlighted. Okay, perfect. So the Engage 50, it's a corded headset. Dave, I tested this one about a week ago, and I was blown away by how clear not only the audio was, but what it does when you have extra noises, competing noises. And if you're at home, like you and I, we're talking right now from the comfort of our own homes. Right now it's fairly quiet, but if you have little ones, you have dogs, you have other ones that are doing other things in your house, or even the space that you're in, all that noise can not only bother you, but the people you're listening that are talking to you. And isn't it I just find it bugs me when somebody, if I'm on the other line and I'm hearing a whole lot of noise. You know, you can tell when somebody's calling you from a call center where it sounds like 500 people in the room. Absolutely. Versus you're talking to somebody one-on-one. And you're more likely to answer, take a call, and engage when you could just hear that person's voice rather than a dog that won't stop barking, or a TV that is in the background, or music that's playing in another room. It's so distracting, especially if you're on one of these Zoom calls today.
It is so distracting, and if you're sharing personal data, you know, depending on what industry you're in, if it's, if you're sharing personal information and you can tell that there's someone in a call center, you're hearing other people's conversations. I'm sorry, but myself, I don't feel comfortable continuing with that conversation. It makes me feel a little bit uneasy. I'm sharing very personal information, and if I'm hearing someone else's personal information, I'm just not confident that I'm working with a call center that's taken the time to really evaluate for the right solution. Now, in the past with call center headsets, or high-use headsets, you know what, a noise canceling microphone was really as advanced as it got. Yes, you know what, a high-end headset, they'd have nice materials, lightweight, super comfortable, they sounded great, they would have a noise canceling microphone, which is really nothing more than a directional mic that would be facing towards the user's mouth. But I know that we have a demo that we'd like to play that kind of talks about the advanced noise canceling features that are built into the microphone, or I should say microphones. So Ori, if you can roll that. So
in this video, we'll be demonstrating how a Jabra Engage 50 performs against typical background noise in the contact center. Let's jump right into it. There's a lot of background conversation and it's pretty noisy at around 60 to 70 decibels. So let's see how the headsets perform against this noise. I'm wearing the Jabra Engage 50, our professional headset designed for the contact center. It has a boom arm and not one but 3 noise cancelling microphones. You can hear just how effective the headset is in blocking out virtually all the background noise. Without the headset on, you can really hear the difference. That was really noisy. So when you're choosing a headset for agents working in a typical contact center, this Engage 50 is the one that's going to optimize your customer experience.
What a great demo.
I really like that demo because that's more or less what I experienced when using the headset. And actually my first experience, and I've got it over here, we're going to show it up in the close-up booth here in a second, that same headset was actually putting it on my head. First of all, it felt very comfortable. And 2, it actually plugs into your mobile device. And that's not always the case for a headset designed for a call center. Or in an environment where you have a lot of noise, that you can actually use it and use it well with your phone. Most of them, and I've used a ton of headsets, they don't work because there's not enough volume in the voice that's coming out from your end and transmitted over to the person you're talking to. It has a very low transmit, so they've never really been able to make a headset that can do that. In this case, that's changed because this particular headset, the Engage 50, Nori, you want to throw up the slide, and then we could shoot it to the close-up cam in a moment here. There we go with the slide with the landing page. There we go. The Engage 50, it's got several advancements in the headset. They have a chip that's intelligent in that it can do a number of things that most headsets, let's call them, I don't want to use the word dumb, the Generation 1, right? Headsets for call centers, all right? This is not just Gen 2. They've gone in and this is like Gen 5, the 5th generation, because there's so many improvements in the headset in that, 1, it can detect when there's a problem. So it comes with, this specific headset comes with a software, that companion software that gives you some analytics, and it can tell you when your boom is out of position. It can tell you if your microphone is having an issue. It also has an indicator, Dave, that tells people when you're on, in this case, you're connected to your computer or your mobile device. I don't know, and I think we were having this back and forth in our meeting the other day. Do we know of any corded headset that has an indicator light that turns on when you're talking.
You know, online indicators, there are a few.
But built into the headset.
But for as far as built in, nothing that I'm aware of has that feature on it.
And you know what, Ori, this is a good time to throw it to the close-up. So I am going to connect that headset, and right now you're just seeing a ruler for some reference there, and I'm going to plug in the Engage 50, which we have on our website, and I'm going to show you that online indicator because it comes on when you plug it into your cell phone. So let's see. There we go.
Wow.
See, so it's green, so that people around you know that you shouldn't be bothered if you're using your cell phone. And I've got something running. I've got some music playing, so it lets people know you're actually doing something with the headset. So that's kind of cool that you have that. And in there you've got three. Let's see if we can get it. Oh, there we go. We've got three microphones that are housed in the boom arm. I realized this whole time my microphone's out of position. It was way over there. So you've got three microphones built in to detect that noise that you saw on the demo, and so now you have also a very comfortable padded section here. It's very nice. It's very soft, so you can wear it. And I'll also just point out, this headset's really designed if you're a serious, avid person that's on your phone, on your PC, on Zoom, in meetings all day long, on your laptop. Maybe you're also streaming some audio or you're listening to Pandora or something else or Spotify. You can, I'm going to show you the controller that comes with it. This is the headset for you. This is for the person that wants the best audio possible. You want the clearest audio possible. You don't want anybody to hear that you're basically at home. This is the headset to do it. Now, this controller, in the listing that we were featuring, we include the controller. So there's some other places where you'll just get the headset. We know that many folks, especially if you're already going to invest the money in a really high quality headset, you want everything at your fingertips. And so the controller puts everything at your fingertips. It puts the ability to answer and hang up, the ability to mute, right? You can also raise and lower the volume with this dial. And it also gives you some programmable buttons. And actually, Dave, all of these buttons are programmable.
Yeah.
So you can customize the experience. And one of the things that I found interesting, and we're going to show that in a second, the software that we had on a little earlier, you can program those buttons. And if you're in an emergency dispatch, a 911, or even in the federal government, they tend to use push to talk quite regularly. The programmable buttons will allow you to essentially program a button to essentially create a push-to-talk environment so that it will only send audio when I push the button. Now, for most folks, they may or may not want to use that particular feature, but I could tell you, having worked with lots of government clients over the years, there hasn't been a very clean and easy solution that allows the user to essentially create a push-to-talk headset when you're using a PC. That just hasn't been possible.
Right. So there was one push-to-talk option that's been out there, really designed for a console, and it was a customized product.
Yes, that's the thing. You had to wait 12 weeks.
Yeah.
Up to 12 weeks. So if you're watching us, whether you're watching us live, you happen to be a manager for folks that need push-to-talk, you don't want to wait 8 weeks, 12 weeks even, for a push-to-talk solution, the Jabra Engage 50 has the ability to do that. It has the ability for you to create a push-to-talk headset. And we're going to show that here in a moment in the video. It's super easy. And so now you have a headset you can send to your users and not worry about, oh, well, I got to get another one or several more and I got to wait another 12 weeks. These are available right now. Yep. And you'll be able to get those out. In this case, Amazon will get it out to your users the following day usually.
Yeah, and something else I want to point out, Rolando, that somewhat has changed in the industry. So right now we are talking about PC-based applications where this headset would work. So for PC, USB-A, USB-C, or also 3.5. But you know what? A lot of the desk phones, not everyone is running away from desk phones today. If you do, what we love about this particular unit is that it does have that controller. So it has that physical interface that so many people, they may miss when they get rid of their desk phone. But let's not forget that some of these top manufacturers, some of these phone manufacturers like Poly, Cisco, Yealink, for example, those folks are now including USB ports on their telephones, and it is designed for an audio path. Each phone's a little bit different, but I've done some testing. We've done some internal testing on some Poly phones with USB solutions, and we found that you can take headsets that are designed like this for the computer and also bring them into that desk phone world. And then if you move away from that desk phone world, you've now future-proofed yourself. So when you upgrade to soft phone only, you don't have to reinvest in any other hardware. The solution's going to follow you to it.
That's right. And it's in these days, wise investments are key. And this is very much future-proof because it's designed to not just, like you said, Dave, not just work with your PC, also with your desk phone, and you have the ability to use it as a really good headset on your mobile device. So you could use it practically on, and normally you may need 2, if not sometimes 3, depending on where you work and how you work, different headsets. So it's essentially doing the job of 3 different headsets rolled up into one. So for the price, you're getting really good value, given that you're getting a versatility and that you get the ability to future-proof yourself with future updates or different devices that may come through. Because right now, PC and mobile is where it's at. But if at some point we return to the office, right, and people start working on their desk phones again, if you happen to have a desk phone that's compatible, you've got a headset that could go right back in the office and you be used on your desk phone. Or if you are one of those people that went and migrated to the cloud and you're going to continue using a Microsoft Teams or an Avaya or Ring Central or Fuse or something else that's in the cloud, you can continue using this particular headset back in the office with your business applications in the office.
That's right. Good point.
Okay, one other thing that while we're talking about this Engage 50, we did the noise canceling. We just showed you the video with all the different things that it's capable of doing. You go ahead and roll that video, Ori. I really like, in this case, I want to give thanks to Jabra for letting us use this video because it really does hit all the highlights on this particular headset. So the Engage 50, I don't know if I could say any more about it. We showed you the demo, the busy light, the ability to, because it does change statuses, you can get analytics so you can hear if you've got an issue. This is some companion software that it comes with. So it's got a lot that you could do here. So from an IT perspective, and if you're an enterprise user, this is really the headset of choice, given that you have the flexibility to do so much without having the need to have somebody go visit somebody, that particular person using this headset if they run into an issue. And all of the ease of use at your fingertips. So if you're on the phone like me, or on webinars or other things, pretty much the entire day, you will enjoy using this headset. This is the one you want to get. So it's really designed. Obviously this was designed pre-COVID, but it works really well in this environment right now, where a lot of folks are just at home. Both from the user perspective as well as an administrator who would have to take care of these headsets.
Right. And one other point to that. So the analytics piece, call centers, in a call center application, call centers are all about numbers. How many phone calls were made? What was the drop off? How much time was spent? And when managers are looking at those numbers and they're seeing some dips with particular users and they're wondering why Agent A took 50 calls while Agent B took 5 calls, you can then take the analytics on the technology side, and then you can pinpoint those issues. Is it a user issue? Is it an issue with the technology? So it kind of helps to address those before things can really get out of control. You can address it so that the stats improve. And you know what? Call centers, it's about stats.
It is, and the bottom line, and like I said earlier, I think some folks do themselves a disservice by simply just looking at the hard cost when getting a device like a headset. Because if you buy a $20 headset, you don't know if that $20 headset is going to block out background noise. You don't know if the agent's going to be comfortable. You don't know if customers are going to be saying, can you please repeat that? And if your bottom line depends on the ability to communicate, and you're doing that on a regular basis, why not just get something that it's going to cost you? It's an investment, but all of those other soft costs that I just mentioned, folks repeating themselves. They're not understanding you. They're frustrated with the fact that you're saying something 2 or 3, 4 times, background noise. All of that drives up your, I think the metric that a lot of the call centers use, Dave, is how long somebody's on a call per call duration.
Yep, duration.
You're going to have agents that are going to have longer calls. And in some cases, that's the nature of what your function is doing. But you'll find that you can reduce the amount of time you're on a call if your goal is to try to hit as many people as possible, or to go through the day to get to the number of goal or target that you have as a company or set for a particular person. It's much harder if that person is constantly repeating themselves, or they're fatigued at the end of the day from having frustrated customers telling them that they can't hear them very well.
You know, something that I've done, I've asked call center managers, it's about numbers. So take their group of people. You have 100 people. How many phone calls are you taking a day? And then, you know what, we would ask the question, if each agent was taking 2 more additional calls per hour, say it's an inbound call center, if everyone could take just 2 more extra calls an hour, what does that mean to the business at the end of a course of a week? And they can do real simple math. At the end of the day, the better the headset, the more efficient they'll be, the more exact and precise they'll be, they can take more phone calls. So if you are a call center manager or a leader out there, ask yourself that question. Say just one. If every agent could take 1 extra call an hour, how many more calls is that? Extrapolate that throughout the course of a week. If you're a numbers guy, if you're a numbers person, it's a good question to ask yourself, because an inferior headset will result in inferior results. Step up your game, make your people more efficient, and you'll see real results that you can quantify on a week-by-week basis.
Well, Dave, I could tell you that having been at, I won't name the client because we don't have their permission to single them out and mention them specifically, but let's just say they're one of the big guys that have phone and internet in your house, okay? and not just in your house, but in a lot of businesses. They have call centers around all over the country. And probably about 7 or 8 years ago, we started working with them because they're people, they were spending money on headsets. And until they started engaging with us, they didn't realize how much money not just money they're throwing away, but how much frustrations their agents were really having. Once we rolled out the proper headsets for them, I remember being in one call center and the manager came up to me. This was I was there for a couple hours that day, and they came up to me and said, you know what? That person that you put the correct headset on, I can see that their numbers improved in just 2 hours.
Wow.
And I was there the following day doing some additional training with that customer, and the manager came back to me the following day and said, I want to thank you for helping us see what we were missing, because and at that point, this was a couple years ago, it was really a test to see if this could actually work with them. And not only did it work, but the metrics that you were talking about were very visible. The group that were given the new headsets versus the group that didn't have the new headsets, they all performed better. Their metrics and their numbers all improved because the agents heard the customers better. The customers were able to go through the particular thing, and this particular thing was actually signing them up for service. They were able to get through those list of questions much quicker. They didn't have to repeat themselves. And so agents were a little happier the following day when I went to see them. And the managers were happier because the agents had better numbers. So not always does a cheaper headset end up working well, especially as you move up in the demands, like a noisy environment, all day usage, comfort, blocking out background noise. That's where the lower tier headsets and the much more high price headsets separate themselves.
Absolutely.
Is in those environments.
And what you're talking about, that's a revenue generating call center. So yes, the manager's going to be happy. The user is making more commission, and the stockholders
they're happier because
as well.
Right. A lot of folks tend to, especially if you're in management, they tend to see the call center as a not a revenue generator, because they're just folks that sometimes are customer service roles, but those customer service roles can be optimized in terms of their usage and efficiency, and maybe be less of a cost than in previous years. And this certainly, with the Engage 50, you have the ability to do that. So if you have questions that we didn't address on the Engage 50, feel free to send us a comment here on the chat, or you can reach out to us. And if you're on Amazon, it's very easy. You can reach out through the Amazon app. We have a web store. We have a store there where it's got a bunch of products on it. You can send us a question. One of our folks will definitely get in touch with you, engage with you, get you the answers you need in order to make sure that you have the right headset. And talking about the right headset, Dave, that we just want to move into, what about those folks that say, you know what, Dave, Rolando, I mean, I hear what you're saying, but my budget's just not there. That's not my budget. And I would love to do something with my people, but that's not my budget right now. So
Absolutely.
We hear you loud and clear, person in the cloud, in the stream, listening or watching, that says, okay, $299, almost $300, like that's just too much. So we have, or if you want to throw this to the close-up cam, you can. We have, and I'm going to swing my microphone, so just give me a second while I get there. We have a USB adapter, and this particular one is the Plantronics version. We also have a version that's available for Jabra, and this adapter has similar to an Ori, you're showing it. Okay, we've got some buttons on here that are volume control buttons, and it's got a mute button, right? So you have the ability to have a connection that works. This one will work on a Windows 10 platform without the need to install drivers. So you should be good to go there from a plug and play perspective. All you do is plug in your Plantronics, or if you have an Add-A-Sound headset, it'll work with the Add-A-Sound. If you have an older VXI headset, as long as you have the P version or the Plantronics version, it will plug in right into the what's called the QD, or the quick disconnect.
So Rolando, help me understand here. So this particular adapter, so if I'm a call center manager, we've been working at our desks, I've invested in Plantronics corded headsets. Maybe I've also invested in either Plantronics direct connect cords that go directly into a desk phone, or maybe they're Plantronics amplifiers that are also going directly into a desk phone. So I've invested into this cost. The products are holding up great, but we've had a reinvestment in technology. So we've moved away from desk phones. We've sent people home perhaps, but now we've gone completely soft phone. So you're telling me that with this adapter, what I can do is I can take that investment that I've already made for the hardware that's designed for the desk phone, and just with this adapter, leave the desk phone world behind me, take this inexpensive adapter, and now bring it into my Microsoft world.
That's correct. And as you can see on the screen there, or you could probably, widen that out to exactly. This particular adapter has the ability to connect itself on the Plantronics headset right into the quick disconnect, just like if you were connecting it into your desk phone. And more than likely, if you're using a Plantronics headset that's connected to your desk phone, you have a lower portion, a cord on the lower half that plugs into the phone. This particular cord is designed to work on a computer, so you could use it on Mac, you could use it on a PC, you could use it on several platforms. If you want to hold that here, you have all of these platforms that you could use it with. And I'll just highlight a few: the Amazon Chime, if you're doing conference calls; Ring Central, which is very popular right now; Zoom is another one; Vonage, Fuse, 8x8, all of these, let's call them cloud providers. You'll be able to use your Plantronics headset. And if you are using this at home, not a problem. You don't have to worry about drivers. We've tested this on Windows 10. It is able to automatically plug in and get connected into the apps. And in the system settings, it will set the settings so that it recognizes and is all ready to go. So you shouldn't have it. And as you can see, we're showing a collection of some of the Plantronics headsets, but there's several more that do not appear on this listing that are plug and play. You can use this adapter. If you have folks that are still that are working from home and you want them to have the same headset without the need to buy a whole new headset, a whole new setup, and you're on a budget. So this is one way to go. There's a Jabra version that we also have available, but a lot of folks that are on the Plantronics side have been looking for something like this, and here it is. This is an adapter that allows you to use that Plantronics headset that you invested in, and go ahead and use it today remotely from home. And it's not a budget buster as well.
Yeah, it's a smart device, and with, like you were saying, Rolando, those buttons that are on there, you can also program those to do, to talk back to the software that you're using.
That is
you
correct.
have the mute and the volume. Does this particular one have the answer and end button? If you're using
it does. As long as you have one of the compatible softwares that allows remote call control, it will do that. So it has the button in order to do that. Go ahead, Dave.
In the real world example of that button, imagine you're away from your desk and you hear your telephone ringing in your office. You're fixing a quick sandwich. You have an incoming call. With this button, you can get back into your office, pick up that controller, and hit that button. If your computer has gone to sleep while you're making your sandwich, without a device like this, you need to Control-Alt-Delete, password, mouse hunt, and maybe you were fast enough to answer that phone call. So I've always thought it was smart that you had the ability to do this button. And again, that real world usage it's there so that you're not missing those telephone calls that are coming in. Grab your headset, hit the button and go, and then worry about opening up your interface on your computer. So it's a great feature.
It is a great feature. And one of those things that we didn't touch on, which we will, is for what happens if you don't want to be tethered, right? We've got a great headset. I'm tethered right now with this, right? I don't have the freedom to go around. You're untethered, right? So you don't have any cords or cables and getting in the way. So if you want to go out and go to the bathroom or get up and go somewhere, you don't have that restriction and you're still on a call. Right. Now, for those folks, we have something for you, as well as using it on your Microsoft Windows platform and using it on your Mac PC, and is also mobile ready. And this particular headset that we're going to highlight now, which is our last one of the day, is the Evolve2. And it's not last because it's the least, because I happen to like this headset quite a bit. Some of the same features that are on that Engage 2 are also on that Evolve2 65. And Ori, you want to go ahead and bring up the Evolve2 page, the landing page for that? This particular headset, and we're highlighting here the Evolve2 that comes with the charging stand. So if you are planning on using it, it'll last you all day long, but the charging stand is a really nice option to have so that it charges when you're not talking or you want to place it somewhere. It will easily just drop into the charger and you're good to go. These are available in the USB-A, the USB-C, so that I will just say this for Jabra. This is one area I would have personally just put a dongle for USB-A or USB-C or a little converter, but they didn't do that. No, their prerogative. But if you know you have a USB-C, you want to use a USB-C version. Otherwise, USB-A, which is the more common USB port that is on most laptops today, most computers, the USB-A will work just fine. The USB-C is essentially the new standard that a lot of the newer laptops are going to. And if you have a newer mobile device, you'll find that, or in Apple's case, you have that round USB type of connector. That's the USB-C. That's where all these manufacturers are trying to get to, and their new products are rolling out more and more USB-C. So I just wanted to point that out. But this particular headset, the Evolve2 65, is a really good wireless headset. It's plug and play with your Microsoft or your Windows, as well as it's Bluetooth, so it will work natively with your mobile device that has Bluetooth on it. What I like about this headset, and I think we've done it in other demos and other streams, is I love the ability to use the headset, and I'm just going to grab it here. So I have it here. Is that when you use the headset, when you bring the boom, I had it the wrong way. When you bring the boom down, it turns on the audio. When you swing it back up, it puts it in mute, gives you a prompt in your ear telling you you're muted. Mute on, mute off. So mute on, mute off, mute on, mute off. And again, you're not tethered. You have the ability to use this with your PC without having to put all kinds of drivers and go through that whole process. There's no need for that. It's plug and play. The other thing, it's really lightweight. And don't be fooled by its lightweight nature. Lightweight doesn't mean cheap materials. Doesn't mean it's less than something that's heavier. And I think a lot of folks, Dave, if you've not used a wireless headset or you've used a heavier headset, like some others, I don't want to say specifically, but the bigger style of headphones maybe, or headsets that were heavier, and you go to this, you might think, wow, that's too light. Well, that's exactly what you want with a product that you're going to probably use all day. Mm-hmm. You want something that's lightweight, that's not going to weigh on you, as a heavier product that maybe feels better because it's heavier.
Right.
So the Evolve2 65, this is definitely a winner. We've got that featured in our carousel. We've actually got several models in our carousel. So if you're watching us on Amazon, we've got mono version, we have stereo version, we have it with the charging stand as you're looking at here, we have without the charging stand. And all of these have the USB dongle included in it so that you can stream to your PC and use it without having to worry about drivers and worrying about issues. Now, Dave, did I miss anything here on this Evolve2 65?
You know what? I know we've talked a lot about the particular product. You know, there's an option that will fit every user out there. We have different colors, single ear, double ear, with or without the stand, USB-A, USB-C. Your wish is our command. We can take care of whatever it is that they personally like.
And sure. I just want to highlight what you just said, Dave, because at Global Tech we are passionate about what we do. We want you to sound better so that if you're selling, you could sell more. And that's kind of our mission statement. We want to help you sound better so you can sell more. And if we're doing that, we're doing our job. And before we wrap this particular stream today, I think we'll do the answer to the trivia, right?
Ah, that's right. That's right. So we'll bring back up that question. So in June, they did a study out in Stanford, and the percentage of the U.S. labor force that's working from home, I don't know if anyone's going to believe this, and I wouldn't be surprised if this number has increased, but the answer is, Ori, 42%. 42%
Oof.
of the workforce is now working from home. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing.
That is an unbelievable number. And again, that was in June. And
that was in June.
As of today, when this is being streamed in December, it's possible that number is probably higher.
Probably higher. It's probably brought a lot of organizations a lot of challenges where technology was the solution. And
Right.
that's why brands like Jabra, that's why they're bringing this level of customization, this level of visibility as an endpoint, the ability to troubleshoot and update. You know, users need this level of support from their technology leaders, and the technology that's available today certainly lends itself to that.
Well, you have so many companies that have also announced either permanent work from home situations or for at least another year. Companies like Google, Facebook, Twitter, some of them have announced, and Microsoft is now going to let remote workers work from anywhere around the world. So without, I mean, it just needs a manager approval, but essentially folks can work. They don't have to go into an office anymore. And larger organizations are leading that charge, but a lot of medium and smaller organizations find it as a cost saver as well. I know where I worked previous to doing this, we'd been doing remote work for quite some time. This is 15 years ago, more than 15 years ago. Everybody pretty much was working from home except for the folks that were at the corporate office, with a few offices sprinkled through the nation. For as big as that company was, they had very, very few offices around the country because they believed everybody should work from home. But I think that's the trend now. I think even if things clear up tomorrow, I think a lot of, I'm hearing how even big companies are going to relocate their offices to other states simply because they could save money and because their workforce is more remote than ever. So the need to have a big office tower in one of the bigger, more expensive cities isn't as required as today when you have a dispersed workforce.
Sure. And you know what, really interested to see what happens with the trends, relocating, organizations taking a smaller physical footprint within their office space, investigating their budgets and where money is spent and where they can reinvest it to accommodate those types of users, and really just improve the experience for everyone.
Well said. And we'll see with time what happens. But I think in talking to other colleagues and talking to other folks in other organizations, obviously the times right now, as of this taping, are stressful for a lot of folks. But there are some folks that have commented to me that they like the work from home environment. It's a little bit more comfortable to them. It comes with its challenges, but it's the whole, I'm hearing more positives than negatives when it comes to work from home at this moment.
Yep, absolutely.
Well, Dave, thank you for bringing that trivia question. We want to remind you to go ahead and like and subscribe. We'll bring you more great content like this. And if you have a particular topic you want us to explore, please go ahead, interact with us. Let us know what you're interested in. We like hearing from our audience as well as our customers and potentially new customers as well. What you're interested in, maybe it's not been on our radar before. Maybe we haven't talked about it in a past stream. We'll be glad to look at it and see if that's something we can bring to you. Any last words, Dave? Where are you? There, you're over there on to my left.
I'm over here. No last words other than, you know what, when you're asking yourself what the tech. Give Global Tech a call.
That's right. What the Tech? It's Friday, and tomorrow's Saturday.
Yeah, thank God. And then we'll blink, and it'll be Monday. So enjoy the weekend, everybody.
All right. So have a great weekend. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
All right. Bye.